God's name was that, gentlemen? What was that?
Well, we've
There,
the floor is fully yours. We did a 90-minute vent line after the game was over last night. I just did a pie chart of blame for these guys. So I mean,
oh, it's unbelievable. But here's I actually got up this morning and wrote something. But there's a few things. The last minute of the third quarter, I mean, despite everything that happened in the first half, Memphis decided to give you back the game right
mhm,
here. They stunk in the third
mhm,
quarter. They dribbled the ball around like soccer players.
mhm.
They were terrible. 52 seconds to go. You're up 21 and you have the ball. What are you going to do? You're going to run it down to 30, throw up a shot. If they rebound it, they're going to get one possession, and then you're going to dribble out the rest of the period, right? They're going to get one possession with 52 seconds. It's just been done that way for the worst teams ever. You ended up throwing it to Jaden McDaniels, and he turned it over 3 times, and you gave them 3 possessions. They scored 5 points, and then they got the ball to start the fourth quarter because they'd
Mhm.
won the opening jump. So you basically, they had lost interest. They had lost interest. They were
Mhm.
playing like clowns, and you said to them, don't give up yet, boys. We can still urinate this one away, so don't give up yet. And that's what they did. They put them back in the game in those 52 seconds. It was just idiotic. And then I got a note. I got a bulletin for Pat Beverly. You know why they leave you open in the corner? They want you to shoot
Mhm.
because there's nobody on that team. They would rather have you shoot a three than Nas Reed. So that's
It's
why they
true.
leave you open in the corner. And figure something else out. Don't run down to the corner because we don't want you shooting from down there.
Mhm.
But that's just part of it. I don't know. Here's the classic part of it. Here's what differentiates it from virtually all other Minnesota collapses. It was a double choker.
Mhm.
Blair Walsh runs out there. That's just a singular choke, right? 41 donut. That's just a singular from the first pass Collins threw. That was a choke, right? This was a double choke. You choked at the end of the first half, didn't score for 5:45, and yet you get back up by 25 points. And it's historic for that reason, I think.
Yeah. Um, Carl Anthony Towns
Cat, your thoughts.
makes me sick. I hate his personality. I hate his behavior. I feel, I've kind of given him the benefit of the doubt for the
I
most part of
have
the
to.
season. I feel so much more strongly about this stance now than I did a month ago. And
But
I don't know how we can put the toothpaste back in the tube.
but what were they attempting to do with him? Why? This has got to be a strategic approach too, right? They're double teaming him, so they're not. He didn't have the ball. He didn't have the ball. He had what? 8 shots, was it, or less? Fewer. I don't know.
Oh man, he
Four,
took four
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 shots.
shots. He took four
Four shots.
shots.
Four
Yeah.
One
shots.
shot in the second half.
Mhm.
Well, what were they attempting to do? Was there something they were running for him? What? I mean, I didn't see any. I think we can cancel plans for the Chris Finch statue after last night's game. And but what were they trying to do? What were they? Where were they? Where did they want to get him the ball? It was
It was difficult to decipher what the
yes,
plan was, but he also teams have figured out if you can run an athletic four at him or double team him,
yes.
he just he freaks out. He doesn't have vision for, okay, this is what they're gonna do. Okay, it's totally okay. I'm gonna throw passes. He just gets flustered and then he
Or
complains.
yes, and a lot of it was Jackson. Just guarding him, but you got to get Jackson in foul trouble before he gets you in foul trouble, right? And
Yep.
that's yeah. Now, when he had his horrible play-in game, he came back and played good the next game. So we'll see. But I think there's it's hard to look your team in the eye after that one and say, "Come on, boys, let's go get them. We can still beat them 3 times." It's,
Can you tell me why Chris Finch didn't call a timeout as his team was hemorrhaging on the floor and like bleeding out?
I think he's a believer in that you don't want to show your team you're in a panic, but he should have been in
Well,
a panic.
yeah,
They were in a panic, so you should have been in a panic. Yes. And
yes.
and not when it got to be 15 in a row, when it got to be 8 or 9 in a row, right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. But boy, it was once once they were within like a bucket, there was nobody on the court who wanted to do anything. Even the usual dynamic Anthony Edwards was absolutely choked up incredibly, and it it was just it was dumbfounding. It wound up being a blowout. You led by 26 and 25, and you got blown out. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's I've always said, I just said this on Twitter. I've always, as a sports writer, I root for either dramatic victory or excruciating defeat, and not boring. This was not boring, that's for sure. This was incredible. They didn't get. I wasn't there, Judd. I was watching. You were there. Did they get booed at all?
No, I think people were so stunned that they went from cheering enthusiastically to it got quieter to leaving.
Well, but there was a moment. So the lead had dwindled, and maybe it was tied or something. And fans, because we've all been around it enough. Like there's this Minnesota fan nervousness that sets in, where it's just kind of like every Twins playoff game. It's like we're kind of cheering, but we're mostly nervous. But to the fans' credit, when that lead almost fully evaporated in the fourth quarter, they went with the "Let's go Wolves" chant. We're gonna carry this team back, and like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
The
car accident. You're not gonna.
It is just absolute. And one thing I did was I kind of compare it to the Chiefs. The double choke. The Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. They gave you the double choke, and people would say, "Well, yeah, but that was to go to the Super Bowl, and this was to take a 2-1 lead." But you have to take into account the Wolves' history.
Mm-hmm.
They have been a joke. And now they won a nice play-on game. They acted like idiots afterwards, but they won they won a playoff game. They took a 1-0 lead in the series, and they came back. And when you take into account that this is the team that was going to change the narrative, they were no longer going to be a joke.
Right.
And now worldwide, because the NBA has a worldwide audience.
Mm-hmm.
You are the biggest clowns in basketball at this very moment. All those teams that didn't make the playoffs don't feel like as big of idiots as you. And Charles Barkley, by the way, is never going to stop now. Every time it's going to be like him with the big women from San Antonio. The Timberwolves being stupid and soft is going to be his narrative for as long as he's still on TV, right?
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. I caught the late night, so they did the first round of ripping at halftime and then after the game. But then after the late game, they jumped back in with the highlights like 10 minutes into the postgame. And they just gave Chuck the floor for 10 minutes, and he just eviscerated everybody up and down.
Yes.
Mostly Cat.
Mostly Cat, but he also at one point I heard him between just, this team's got the dumbest coaches I've ever seen. He thinks he's always felt like they're coached stupid too by. I'm not a big believer in putting, as I wrote last week, I'm putting Cat in the post, right? But did they ever put him in the post last night? How many times did he get low?
Well, he posts up from like the wing. He posts up from the 3-point line.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they never got him down low to try to see if he could do something down there. And I see that they do not have media access today. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think they took the day off to collect their thoughts.
Yes. Wow. What unbelievable.
So Patrick, where does this rank? Like just off the top of your head, where would this rank in the large list of really impressive?
I was looking at games that not not heartbreaking, okay? Not heartbreaking, that embarrassed us to be Minnesotans, right?
Okay.
That if we ran into somebody at the airport, we didn't want to admit we were from Minnesota, those kind of games. And I was thinking about them. 41 Donut, obviously, is one of those games. I don't think the loss to Atlanta is, because that was a hell of a game that they just ended up losing. First Super Bowl. Now, you got to be as old as me, but you have to remember that we were 100% convinced they were going to win. The idea that they were going to lose never occurred to us. So that was kind of humiliating. And then when you went 0-4, but they got their rear ends kicked the next three. I say 41 Donut. And to a smaller scale, 10-0 in Cleveland on that Thursday in '84. The 10-0 lead in front of 800 fans in Cleveland. And Jamie Quirk gets one hit as a Cleveland Indian. One hit in all the time it's there. And it's a game-winning home run off RD that wipes out the final vestiges of the 10-0 lead. And that's where Gaetti, what was it, throwing? It's hard to throw the ball.
It's hard to throw the ball with your hands around your neck.
First base with both hands around your
neck is a great line.
We didn't get a quote like we should have gotten that last night, but we didn't. I think it's in that class because it's humiliating. It's not heartbreaking. It's humiliating, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's a difference.
Yeah,
there's a lot of heart. I'd say it's an unexplainable defeat that we haven't had before. But Mace had 5 of them. Right. Mace had about 5 of these, right? The Michigan game where they were going to go to the Rose Bowl, and then they ended up getting beat. And Mace had a bunch of them, but never with as much attention focused on it, except maybe for that Michigan game, right?
So, Pat, you probably won't be surprised to know that we did spend about 20 minutes on Timberwolves Vent Line last night, entertaining Karl Anthony Towns' offseason trade ideas, even though there's still at least 2 games left in this series. Mm-hmm. Is it an overreaction? Let's say they get beat the next couple games and they lose in 5 and they can't recover from the Game 3 meltdown.
Well,
is it an over? You think they're going to lose in 5?
Yes.
Yeah. So
hell yes.
So if that happens, is it an overreaction to say that they should shop Karl Anthony Towns this summer?
Well, you have to realize this: you're never going to get value. You're never going to get those. Don't work. Kevin Love. You got Wiggins, I guess, and he's certainly not KG, but you're never going to get a player as important to your regular season as this guy for him. So you get a number 1 draft choice, and the odds are it's not going to be a high draft choice. And I think he might, after last night and his response to that when asked about 4 shots and stuff like that, I think he might answer that question for you behind the scenes and want out, don't you?
Well, okay, so Jace Frederick posted a clip from the Pioneer Press. He posted a clip of the game last night when Cat hit the jump shot in the fourth quarter, his only bucket of the fourth quarter. It was kind of top of the key, a couple feet inside. And Jace, I don't know, he watched this back and he says after his lone fourth quarter shot last night, Towns seems to look down at his hands afterwards and yell, "Where's the ball?"
Yes. Yeah, and then he answered the question afterwards. Next question: why'd you only have 4 shots? So he's mad.
He's mad at other people for not getting him the ball.
I think.
Of course.
Well,
yeah.
without having, but in a modest defense of him, not a full defense. In modest defense, they didn't run anything. Mm-hmm. They didn't run anything that made it look like they were going to. It looked like they were willing to have him when the things were going well be a decoy, mm-hmm. and not try to force the ball down to him. So look out. The next game they'll be trying to force the ball down to him, and we'll see if that works. But
do you think Pat Beverly and Jimmy Butler have exchanged text messages in the last week?
I don't know. but Pat Beverly to me has a short shelf life. And once again, he's acting like an idiot, almost taunting Morant a couple of times when they're beating him by 25, and he disappeared just like everybody else when the
Yeah,
when the
he did.
push came to shove. So I'm not a big Pat Bev fan. I do like the way he plays defense. Here's what's amazing: how well they played defense, slapping the ball away, turning it over, making life miserable for Ja. They were, I mean, they were really good for long stretches as defensively, which is what allowed him to get the big lead more than functioning offensively. And that they were stupid. They were stupid at times, that's for sure. But you can't, it's not all Cat only having 4 shots. It's not what you gotta say, okay, we don't care if you're double teamed, we're gonna throw you the ball, and then you got to do something with it. But I don't. How often do they even try to pass it into that? Pass it to him, that's the.
And then he'll pass it out.
Made himself available, but
he'll pass it out. But here's what I don't get: why doesn't he shoot? And he had a few opportunities, at least a few, if not more, last night. Why doesn't he shoot in transition? Like he has the ball, and then he'll slow it down. Like it's Carl. You are one of the best 3-point shooting big men of all time. Probably the best.
I noticed that, Judd, though, and they did not let him take that little pop. They were on him quick when he was. That's one thing they are trying to prevent is him shooting the 3. When I watched him play defense, they don't want to.
I thought he had chances, though.
They don't want to give him room to shoot the 3. But that's. I mean, and it's going to be. There's going to be trouble in River City here with the Cat Band if this series goes. If they just disappear here in 5 games, and I think he might settle that problem for them.
Yeah.
And Finchie, the love affair with Finchie is, they all bought in, blah, blah, blah. That's not everybody bought in last night. That's for sure. So,
no. Also, worth noting too, there were some reports, and I don't know if Judd, if you said this last night, but apparently Alex Rodriguez during the meltdown in the 4th quarter walked up into the tunnel and never came back to his seat.
Never came back.
Walked right in front of me. By the way, A-Rod, you got to get yourself in shape, man.
Why? Who cares?
He's lumpy?
He's letting himself go completely.
Is he really?
It's not. Yeah, he's really
losing J-Lo will do that to you. That'll.
Well, yeah. I got
he's
bloated. I got a hunch the rebound lasted about 25 minutes. So.
Sure believe me, the people surrounding him, he's in no trouble there. I'm just saying, I'd like to see him get himself in a little.
I think he'll be fine. I think he's fine.
Well, yes, he walked out and didn't come back. That's accurate.
I managed to get a picture of Mark Lohr's feet with a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. I tweeted it out. So.
Saw that, yeah. It's crazy.
Shoes off, yeah.
That's really good photography work by you. To get that up close with the subject is pretty amazing.
Luckily, we got a wooden floor in the house here, so I could make it look like it was on the court. So, anyway.
Mark Lowry's socks look a lot like someone's socks that I know. I can't put a finger on it.
Yeah, okay. At least, hey, Buck came back and the offense exploded.
We scored a run.
The Twins hitting exploded for a run, so everything's fine, right?
Sack fly.
Amazing. Miguel Sano driving in the game-winning run.
Yeah, man.
Sacrifice fly. Last night, God, I love Roy Smalley as a human being. I covered him, and I loved him as an analyst. But he's been beaten bloody down into a BSN. Oh, by the way, I forgot this. I was watching TNT. I forgot to turn to Benzie and Jim Pete. Did they survive? Or they
tell about Jim Pete, Phil.
Huh?
Jim Pete, I'm paraphrasing this, but after the game, Jim Pete said something like, "I'm still roiding with these players and these coaches. See you on Saturday." Jim Pete, I love you, man. I can't.
Well, Dick and Roy both were as Miguel was up in about the 7th inning and preparing to strike out on a breaking ball. They were talking about how he lost like he promised. He lost 30 pounds and he's not, and Roy was saying he's not chasing that breaking ball. He's getting more walks. He's not chasing that breaking ball. More praise than I've ever heard for a guy hitting 86.
Yeah.
He's hitting 86. Although I didn't check after his last at bat, it might be 85 or 4 now. He's hitting 86. We cannot be saying kind things about somebody hitting 86.
Also, if this is the fourth time you had to come on your broadcast and talk about how he's lost 30 pounds at some point in the last 6 years.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Quinn's Twitter is trying to put out there that his eye has improved. Like, this is the new thing.
Yes, that's
for
the new
a
thing.
week
That's
now.
what they were talking about. His eye has improved.
That's our talking point.
Yeah, well, he must, something has to improve because he can't hit the fastball when it's above his belly button and more than 92 miles an hour. So, I will say, but all around baseball, man, hitters are having a hard time. The Yankees get shut out by both the Orioles and the Tigers within a 4-day period. So there's some late report to camp. The hitters are not swinging the bats, but these guys, I don't know. What are they going to do about that bullpen too? Oof. I mean, they got him out yesterday, but you got Duran, and then the guy they got from they let the guy finish. They got from San Diego, but boy, they got when Joe Smith's your 62-year-old Joe Smith is your third ace pitcher, you could be in a little trouble, right? He's been around forever. So
yeah, it's rough.
Anyway.
It's rough. Anyways, other than all of those things, Minnesota sports just a great place to bury it up.
We are looking pretty good, and it's gonna now that the Twins are back home, it's gonna rain tonight too, right? We're gonna get rain tonight.
Oh, are we gonna get rained on tonight?
Yes.
I'll be there.
There'll be a season ticket holder, Declan. Will be there.
That's
I'll be
looking
there.
like a great investment, Dex.
Yeah,
No, I'm great because I'm on the 24th, so I'm the first row in the section, and I have the overhang. So rain, shine, sunshine, I don't have to move from my seat.
I'm talking about
I had a great tweet yesterday that must have went over everybody's head because the Twins won the Green Glove Award, right?
Yeah.
For the most environmentally
Yes.
friendly. They get the greatest diversion of waste of any team in the park. And I said, this team is trying to assist in that cause by, cutting attendance to a bare minimum so there'll be much less waste. That's a good quote. That's a good tweet.
It is. Yeah, Oakland is doing an even better job of that.
That's right. Yeah, Oakland's with the oldest stadium in America where they don't even pick stuff up. That's okay because nobody's going to the games. It's fine. Okay, well,
that's amazing. All right. Well, Pat, we'll catch up early next week.
There are Wolves, and if they want to go to Las Vegas, I don't think anybody gives a damn.
Seattle. No. Send them to Phil.
No, I don't even. I'm good.
Send
them
to Mackey. Climb in Pledge Arena. Wait for the Timberwolves. New Sonics.
I got news for them. They're too late to go to Seattle because the crackheads beat them there. The crackheads.
And they're here tonight,
baby.
The Kraken tonight. Yes.
Our boys, all they do is win.
Exactly right. Come on out, Reusse. We'll show you a good team.
Yeah, I might pass. All right. We'll see.
All right. See you, Pat. All right. That's Wrap It with Reusse. Mackey and Judd scoring on the YouTube channel.